right. Organic people, let me kind of give you a crash course in what you're doing. Whatever is not done, I would suggest doing as homework. You don't need to do all the SciPad pages. You should just do enough to kind of get the idea of what we're talking about. So for organic chemistry, the Quizlet that I wanted you guys to do is looking at these functional groups and looking at those unique combinations of atoms. So for example, alkanes are just a carbon-hydrogen chain with nothing else special. Mercy, take your headphones off. I'm doing organic notes. Mercy, doing organic notes. The haloalkanes have the X side chain that is referring to any halogens, so anything in group 17, like bromine or chlorine. Alkenes have the double bond, alkynes have the triple bond, alcohols have an OH, carboxylic acids have a double bonded oxygen and an OH, and then amines have the nitrogen. So this is in your SciPads. We will do various pages on each one of those functional groups. So that's one way we organize organic molecules. The other way we do it is by number of carbon chain, and that's going to decide our naming factors. I won't go through that because I think that's more or less all I want to cover in this page. Something to keep in mind is, again, this is just refreshing what we're talking about. So longest chain when we are naming organic compounds. So for example, this is a 2-carbon chain, and if I have a 2-carbon chain, then I use the F prefix, and then ANE is referring to alkanes. So just be mindful that the alkanes have an A and E ending. So when we learn our various functional groups, we're going to learn how to name them in particular, so that way you're not describing them. The name itself will tell you what you're dealing with. So the first step is by just naming the carbon chains. So for example, that's based off of number, which is covered on this page over here. So if I'm looking at this guy here, this is a 1-carbon chain, so I just call that methane. So meth is referring to the number of carbons. This ending here is telling us the functional group and what kind of setup is the molecule. So the first bit is the number. This bit tells me functional group. And with this, we talked about functional groups over here. We'll do that in more detail. But all I want you guys to worry about today is just learning how to name these molecules. So we go through and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at the number 5. That is pent. So this is pentane. That's the first step to learning how to name our organic molecules. Are we okay with that so far? Organic people? Organic people? Yes? Okay. Moving it. All right, that's what I want you guys to do for homework. All right, the other thing to keep in mind with organic chemistry that's important is that there are different sort of vocabulary that we're using to explain what we're looking at. Molecular formula is just the shorthand version, and it's just stating the number of carbons and hydrogens. Structural formula actually draws out where everyone's bonded. And condensed formula is like this, except instead of having the 3 branches of carbon coming off, we just have the 3 there. So for example, if I was to do butane, bute, if I look at my list, is 4. Oh, 4. So I draw a 4-carbon chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have to remember that carbon has 4 bonds attached to it. So I connect all these carbons together, and then whatever I don't have anything attached to, we just fill it in with hydrogen, like that. So that is the structural formula of how it's drawn out. But when I want to translate it into a condensed formula, all I do is I take each carbon and write the number of hydrogens. So that'd be CH3, that's CH2, that's CH2, and that's CH3 again. So that's the condensed formula. And then molecular formula is just a straight number count of how many carbons and how many hydrogens. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So C4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. H10. Are we okay with that so far, organic people? So I would say if you guys are, it depends on what you feel like you need. It's up to you really. But those are the pages that I would recommend. And then last thing over here is just teaching us about a shorthand to communicate across a general formula for alkanes. So what you'll notice is the ratio for alkanes is that when you look at the number of carbons, if you take the number of carbons and you multiply it by 2, and then you add 2, that will equal the number of hydrogen, which is pretty neat. So for example, if I have hepadecane, which is 17 carbons, I would obviously have 17 as my carbon number. And then for my hydrogen number, I would do 17 times 2 plus 2. And then that will give me the answer to that, which I can't do mental math. You guys know that. Where's my calculator? There it is. All right. 17 times 2 is like what, 50 something? 43 plus another 2 is 36. So that's how I do those ones. Really important for level 3 chemistry when we do spec to look at those ratios. So times 2 plus 2 for that guy. And that's our general formula. Do you guys want to see another one? Yes? Okay. So this one's 5 carbons. Again, it's asking us to figure out what that means. So 5 carbons, if I look at this guy over here, is pentagon. So this is pentane. And then formula is C5. And then if I times it by 2, I have 10. And then if I plus 2, I have 12. That's how the formula works. So times 2 plus 2 when you're trying to figure out the number of hydrogens. It also works the same way if you're going backwards. So if I look at this and I go, I'm trying to figure out if this is an alkane, I see that it's times 2 plus 2, so I know it's an alkane. All right, questions, concerns, comments. All right, make sure you do at least some of those pages because when I see you guys on Thursday, I'm gonna start you guys on naming more complex alkanes because I want you guys to get the hang of that. So those are the pages I want you guys to do. If you want, you don't need to answer all the questions there. You can just do a couple to make sure you have the understanding and then you can move on. Same thing with this one here. All right, cool. All right, that's us for today. So no, the battery's running low. Oops, don't want that. Go away. Go away. Oh, that's a nice picture. It's my dog, or my brother's dog. I'm trying to get you to stop recording, which is not working. What are you doing? Why are you recording? That's being bizarre. Stop.
It's wired in the
What are you doing?
Wow.
What are you doing?
Dog.
Yeah, it's my brother's dog. And then I did an embroidery of that, his dog.
Wow.
It's not letting me stop the record. Do it. Just gonna force quit it.
Yeah.